Federal regulators have now linked a bacteria outbreak to 6 deaths and 25 hospitalizations around the country. It all ties back to recalls we're seeing with several pre-cooked pasta meals. We actually learned about this outbreak back in June. It set off a wave of recalls. People are getting sick with an infection called Listeria. At least one of them is from our state. These are just some of the recalls that have been making headlines in recent weeks. If it feels like you're constantly hearing about recalls, you're not imagining it. This is an FDA dashboard that shows most of the active recalls. Right now, there are 545 of them. 205 of them are just from this year. And get this, the dashboard actually doesn't even have every recall, so it's possible that number is even higher. And all of that, those are big numbers. That can sound pretty alarming. So to get a better sense of what we are facing, I talked with an NC State expert about food recalls to find out what this all means for us. Here now with Dr. Ben Chapman, the head of Agricultural and Human Sciences at NC State. Appreciate you joining us. Let's jump right into it. Dr. Chapman, why are we seeing so many recalls?
So I wouldn't say that we're seeing a number of recalls that is any different than what we would expect to see in a normal situation. I know many of the people that I work with in the retail industry and in food service, they expect to see about a recall a day. And that's kind of what we're experiencing right now. We may have some higher profile recalls that are grabbing attention differently, but I don't actually think that the data supports that we're seeing any more recalls now than we have over the past year or the past 10 years.
We are seeing a good number of them, though. Like, we're talking about hundreds of active recalls. When we look at that, is that because there is just more product on the market to look at, or is that because of advances in technology? Help us understand this.
Yeah, it's a wide variety of reasons on why we see so many recalls. One is it actually demonstrates that our food safety system is working as is planned, because what's happening is that either regulators or industry members are finding problems, and what they're trying to do is get product back when they find those problems. So certainly our technology is getting better. Our ability to share information from different parts of the industry to regulators is getting better. And we see recalls more and more because the system's actually working.
I want to drill down on that a little bit more of what you just touched on. What does the food inspection process look like at a federal level, and then how does that translate down to the state?
Yeah, so food inspection actually happens at 3 different levels. We have federal inspectors that spend time going to certain types of processors, meat and poultry and other major processors. We have state regulators that do inspections on behalf of the federal government as well as on behalf of their state mandates. And then we have local regulators, thinking about here in Wake County Public Health, that does inspections in restaurants. And so we have different levels of inspection for different types of food production.
What does it take to trigger a recall?
So usually what triggers a recall is some concern with the food. Sometimes that concern is found through an outbreak investigation where we have illnesses. And we're seeing that right now with this pasta salad outbreak that's led to numerous recalls. Sometimes it's something that a business triggers themselves because they've found something within their system. And then sometimes it's a regulator who is just doing some regular testing of food and products, and they're finding things that are out there on the market that have the potential to be contaminated. And so they're working with the industry to have those recalls started.
Let's get to sort of the upshot here. You know, you mentioned that you expect to see about a recall a day. You know, that can be determined depending on how you listen to that you could hear that as, oh wow, like a recall a day. That means something in my pantry could potentially be recalled tomorrow. Or you could look at that and think, well, maybe we're doing a really good job of keeping our food supply safe. How should we be looking at this?
So I would say, when it comes to food safety, we see about 48 million cases of foodborne illness a year on estimate. But we have billions of servings of food that we consume in the US on an annual basis. And so it becomes like this numbers game when it comes to food safety, and recalls are just a subsection of that. I'm not someone who's alarmed right now with the additional coverage around recalls. Like I said, I think we expect to see on average one or a little over one a day in the U.S. as it relates to food, and so it is a good example of how the system does work.
Dr. Chapman, appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Now back to that pasta recall, just to give you an idea of how widespread it is. It's impacting 17 states in addition to ours, and several grocery store chains, including Trader Joe's and Walmart.